Once again, have all of your things around your mat, have a strap nearby, have a couple blocks nearby, and we're going to start by easing into the day, lying on your back. So take your time, make your way all the way back. And once you do, honoring any instinct to stretch or move or wiggle. And I'll give you a couple choices here. If your low back is feeling particularly sensitive this morning, you might plant your feet flat. You might even drop your knees together here. Otherwise, we'll start in Supta Baddha Konasana, so the soles of the feet together, knees wide. If your low back feels compressed here, a few options. You might catch hold of the edges of your yoga mat with your hands and drag the mat a little bit forward towards your heels. And then I'm going to recommend using your blocks underneath your knees, but it is really up to you. Blocks or pillows do the job very nicely. And take this time to really arrive. If you like a pillow behind your head, you might set that up as well. And soles of the feet together, knees relaxing wherever they are. And starting here with sensation in the feet, noticing how the feet connect to one another or connect to the earth. And can you allow the legs to release even more, to really be held here? If the chin is tipping up, we'll draw the chin down a bit towards the top of the chest, simply inviting the base of the skull to lengthen, the bones of the skull to soften back. And then resting your hands on your low belly comfortably. If there's another place you prefer, be my guest. And bringing attention into your breath. Noticing sensation here. Maybe the belly is expanding out into the hands. And taking this time to really arrive right here into your mat, into your practice. Moving from that place of sleepiness into a place of awake. It's actually a beautiful place for meditation. We'll work today to clear our lens a little bit, to move, to focus, and then to quiet once again. I'm going to read a quote by Tom Robbins. He says, "One has not only an ability to perceive the world, but an ability to alter one's perception of it. More simply, one can change things by the manner in which one looks at them. One has not only an ability to perceive the world, but an ability to alter one's perception of it. More simply, one can change things by the manner in which one looks at them." I invite you to call to mind one word or phrase that brought you to the mat today. And when you're ready, bringing your hands to your outermost knees if they're wide. Keep the inseams of the legs relaxed as you draw the knees all the way together. You might move that support to the side. And then very slowly draw your right knee in towards the chest. Give it a nice squeeze. And then exhale, set your right foot down. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, hug your left knee in, easy breezy. Give it a nice squeeze. And then exhale, set it down. And we'll take an inhale here. And this time, exhale, draw your right knee in. Flex a foot and ankle. Inhale, reach that foot up to the sky just for a breath. And we'll cross that foot off the edge of your left thigh. You might stay right here or take an inhale. And as you exhale, maybe you hug your left thigh in. And catching the back of the thigh or your shin. You might use your strap here as well. And breathe. 10 breaths, about a minute hold here. Left kneecap in line with your left mid collarbone. You can always set that left foot down to a block or the earth. If you're in a tight space, as I know some of you are, you might even place your left foot on a desk or a dresser drawer if it's there. Breathe. As you draw that left thigh in, you might even use your right elbow, right forearm to softly invite that right thigh forward. Breathe. Just one more breath here. On an exhale, we'll set that left foot down. Unwind your right leg. Take a pause there. And on your next exhale, draw your left knee in. Other side. Flex your left foot and ankle. Inhale, breathe it up to the sky just for a breath. And then we'll cross that flexed foot off the edge of your right thigh. You might stay here or exhale, hug that right thigh in, catching the thigh, the shin, the strap. Setting that right foot back down. Finding nice smooth inhales and nice long exhales. As that right knee draws in towards that right mid collarbone. You might use your left elbow, left forearm to invite that left thigh forward. Breathe. You might even flutter your lips here. Shoulders are soft. Just one more breath. As you exhale, we'll set that right foot back down. Unwind your left leg, set it back down to the earth, pause. And then find your strap. And this time we'll exhale, hug your right knee in, strap up that right foot at the padding of the toes, and reach that right leg up to the sky. Reach that right leg up to the sky. Now as you press the foot up into the strap, at the same time draw the strap down to really allow the arm bones to be heavy, really using the weight of the arms to draw that leg right down into its socket. Shoulders soften back. You might stay here or slide your left leg to the top of your yoga mat, please. And if that's you, all 5 toes flex up towards the ceiling. The heel is back, thigh bone back, resisting the urge to just drop the toes of that left foot to the left. So keeping them straight up to the sky. You might stay right here, or you might invite that right leg back a little bit. But notice that right outer hip. Notice that right outer hip. We'll even take your right hand thumb so you can catch both sides of the strap in your left hand. Take your right hand thumb and press that right outer hip forward towards a wall in front of you. Sometimes it likes to lift. So keep pressing that right hand thumb forward. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, bring your right leg a few inches across the body without rolling off your right buttocks. You can play a little bit with that. And you might begin to bend your left elbow, draw that leg a little more diagonally towards your left shoulder. Keep pressing that right hand thumb forward. Keep rolling your left toes to the sky. And don't forget to breathe. Nice long exhales. I think one of the greatest lessons of yoga is that even if we can put ourselves in these possibly uncomfortable positions, can we learn to breathe there or exit what needs to be exited? When you're ready, let's inhale that right leg up to the sky. And then exhale, bend the knee into the chest. Give it a good hug, a good squeeze. Good. And then let's take a full body stretch. Arms and legs nice and long. You might interlace your fingers, flip your palms towards a wall behind you. Flex your feet, wiggle, yawn, sigh. And then when you're ready, unwinding your arms. And nice and slow, we'll re-bend your knees. You might even press your feet down, lift your buttocks about 1/2 inch off the earth, set it back down. And this time we'll find the strap, and we'll strap up your left foot at the padding of the toes, metatarsals, and breathe that left leg up to the sky. The knee might be soft or bent, totally fine. As that foot presses up into the strap, the weight of the arm bones are drawing that leg down into its socket. The shoulders melt back. You might even bend your elbows here. You might stay here or slide your right leg to the top of your yoga mat. If that's you, all 5 toes flex up. Heel is back, thigh bone back. You might even find a lumbar curve here if your low back is flattening. You might stay here or invite that left leg back. And then catching hold of both sides of the strap in your right hand. And we'll take that left hand thumb into your left outer hip and roll that hip forward. Breathe. So that left hip often likes to lift up here. Take an inhale when you're ready. And as you exhale, we'll glide that left leg a little bit to the right. And keep rolling your left thumb forward. Option to bend your elbow and your right elbow and draw that leg towards that right shoulder. Good. And then notice your extended leg. Keep rolling the right toes up towards the ceiling. Heel back, thigh bone back. Breathe. Nice long exhales. One more breath. When you're ready, we'll inhale that left leg up to the sky. We'll hug the knee into the chest, release the strap. Once again, full body stretch. You might interlace your fingers the other way, turn your palms back, press or pulse, wiggle, yawn. And then from here, slide your arms out to the sides like the letter T. One knee at a time, bend your knees. Shift the hips a little bit to the left, draw the knees in, and exhale, knees up and over to the right, easy twist. Maybe your right hand drapes on the top of that thigh. Maybe there's support between or under your knee, shins, ankles. Allowing your left shoulder to be heavy, left arm heavy, wrist heavy. Maybe your left ear turns to the left. Breathe. One more breath. Nice inhale. Nice exhale, navel to spine. One knee at a time. Inhale, come on up. Set your feet down. Shift your hips when you're ready up and over to the second side. Draw the knees in. And exhale, knees to the left. Easy twist. And that left arm might drape on the top thigh. Any pulling in your low back, you slide a block or two or a blanket between knee, shins, and ankles, or underneath, or both. Maybe there's support under your right arm or right wrist. And as that right arm, right wrist gets heavier, maybe that right ear rolls to the right. Breathe. Good. One more breath. Nice inhale. Nice exhale. Navel to spine. One knee at a time. Inhale. Come on up. Reset. Hug your knees all the way in. Give your knees a great big hug. And then we'll roll to rest on your right side, using your upper arm as a pillow. And very slowly press yourself up into Balasana, child's pose. Take your time. And once you arrive in child's pose, the knees can be wide or the knees can be together. Arms can be forward, arms can be back. You choose. And take 5 breaths here. And keeping that connection to the earth, staying low here to start. Feel where your body connects to the earth. Can you soften even more? Really be held. Good. If it feels good, you might rock the forehead from side to side. Good. And then drag the hands back and round yourself all the way up to sit. And I'm going to recommend sitting either in a hero's pose, sitting on your shins, or sitting in a modified Virasana. I just want your spine to be nice and tall here. So if neither of these seats feel good, you might sit in Sukhasana instead. Totally fine. Just want to wake up the side body a little bit and release the neck a little bit here before we begin to move. So take a nice tall seat here, really anchoring your sitting bones down and lengthening your spine up vertebrae by vertebrae. Relax your arms down. And let's inhale, reach your arms up, parallel. We'll turn the palms forward, root down, and we'll make a very slow apple picking motion from side to side. It always makes you want to yawn. You might even move even slower here, like you're moving through molasses. If you want to reach one hand down, you might stay there and breathe. Just an option. About 5 or 6 more breaths here. When you stretch through the lateral line, that side body, it creates more space for lung tissue. Once you feel even, only then reach both arms up. Turn the palms out, take a nice inhale, flex your palms, exhale, lower your arms all the way down. Good. Allow your fingers to either touch down to the earth, or if it feels better as we release the neck, to rest your hands wherever feels good. Please honor that. I just want the arms to be nice and heavy here. So sitting up nice and tall, keep the collarbones broad. We'll draw the chin down towards the top of the chest. We'll take a pause there. Now, quite often, if you've been staring at a computer screen, the shoulders like to come closer towards one another, right? So keep those collarbones nice and broad here. Shoulder blades onto the back, front ribs back, sitting bones anchor. And very slowly, almost like you're tracing a necklace, we're going to glide the chin towards your right shoulder. We'll take a pause there. And we'll glide it through center and to the other side, a little pause there. And go back and forth a few times, nice and easy. I think those pauses are really the most magical parts. And so notice sensation in those pauses. If you want to stay there, you can. Might go back and forth 1 or 2 more times. And I'll meet you that same place we started, with the chin down. Nice and slow, we'll stack the head right over your heart. Good. And then this time I want you to imagine there's a chalkboard in front of you. And we're going to paint a dinner plate with the tip of the nose. So slowly begin to make circles with the tip of the nose. All I ask is that you do not drop your head back, right? Head and neck circles can be very healthy, and they become, in my opinion, not healthy when we drop the head back, losing that space. And so we'll talk less so you can feel more, maybe hear little crackling noises. The next time the chin draws down, pause, and we'll reverse. Good. Little crackling sounds are typically the fascia. We often get bundles of fascia, especially first thing in the morning. Like combing out what some people might call fuzz. Right? Next time the chin draws down, pause. And we'll stack the head up and come forward, move your support if you have it. It might feel good to either stamp the legs or to reach one leg back at a time, press or pulse. And then from here, in this neutral tabletop position, let's begin to wake up the length of the spine. So grow the spine nice and long. Let's take an inhale to the roof of your mouth, please. And an exhale down to the base of the spine. Let's take some nice slow cat-cows. Inhale, draw your heart forward, collarbones broad. As you exhale, round the spine, press the floor away, hollow out your low belly. Again, inhale, draw your heart forward, upper arms roll open. And exhale, round the spine, press the floor away. Let's 2 more. Inhale, heart forward. Inner thighs roll back and apart. And exhale, round. 1 more time, nice and slow. Inhale, draw your heart forward. And exhale to round. This time we'll inhale to a nice long spine. We call it axial extension. Keeping the hips right over the knees. Walk your arms forward into puppy dog. Forehead can rest on the earth. Maybe that block if that feels better for you. If this is really accessible, you might rest on your chin instead. For me, that doesn't feel so good. I really like a block here on my forehead. Upper arms can soften here. Those upper arm bones rolling open. Heart is melting. Breathe. What would it feel like to keep the collarbones nice and broad here? Let's take 1 or 2 more breaths. And then staying low, snaking forward into a Sphinx pose. So your elbows are right under your shoulders. Any low back sensitivity, widen your feet as wide as your sticky mat is wide. And as you press your toenails down, hug your toenails up towards your hips. Keep the collarbones broad, roll your upper arm bones open. And use your hands and your elbows to press down and back. And as you press down and back, notice the back of the heart. Notice the back of the neck. Can you draw the chin down a little bit? And press the corners of the neck back and up. And breathe. You might gaze off the bridge of your nose or close your eyes. Good. Let's take 1 more inhale together. And as you exhale, lower forward and down. Let's stack your hands under your forehead. Give your tailbone a little bit of a wag here. Good. Great. And we're going to get a little bit more into the low body. So you can keep the legs nice and wide or see what it feels like to bring the legs either hip bone distance or all the way together. So the inseams of the legs are together, big toes together. The heels will not touch. We'll keep the forehead down. Root your right toenails down. Take a breath. As you exhale here, draw your navel back towards your spine. And then we'll breathe or lift that left leg up off of the earth. So your forehead is down, your right toenails are down, your left leg is lifted. Spread your left toes wide. And instead of thinking about lifting it up, can you grow that leg longer? You might find that it will help when you press your right toenails down. Take 1 more inhale here. And as you exhale, lower that foot down. This time, left toenails press down. Take a breath. On an inhale, right leg lifts. We'll stay and breathe. Spread your right toes wide. Grow that leg longer. Press your left toes downer. Take 1 more inhale here. And as you exhale, lower all the way down. And this time we'll keep the hands exactly where they are, but we'll add the upper body. So root your right toenails down. Take a breath. Listen carefully. As you inhale, right leg lifts, upper body lifts. We'll stay and breathe. So the arms are here. If you prefer those Sphinx arms, it's fine. Keep the collarbones broad. Drag your hands back of the heart forward. Spread your left toes wide. Grow that leg longer. Breathe more. Take 1 more inhale here. And as you exhale, lower all the way down. We'll take a breath between sides. Nice inhale. Nice exhale. Anchor your left toenails down. As you inhale, right leg lifts, upper body lifts. We'll stay and breathe. So spread your right toes wide, grow longer. Root your pubic bone down, plant your hands down, and drag your hands back of the heart forward. Take 1 more inhale here. And as you exhale, lower all the way down. And we'll plant our hands for cobra, either alongside your chest or your floating ribs. Broaden your collarbones, roll the upper arm bones open, take a breath. And as you inhale, rise to your cobra. And I like to wiggle a little bit from side to side, just an option here, creating more length in the side body. Collarbones broad, upper arm bones roll open. Hands are dragging back of the neck is long. Breathe. When you're ready, take a nice inhale. As you exhale, lower forward and down. Inhale to tabletop. Curl your toes under and reach your hips back towards your heels, please. Good. You might stay here or downward facing doggy, please. Downward facing dog. Might feel really good, might not. If you're skipping dog today, totally fine, totally fine. Good. If you're in dog, soften your knees. You might stay high on your tippy toes, take a very slow walk forward to the top of your yoga mat. We'll all meet in a forward fold. So wherever you are, finding your way to the top of the mat, you might widen your feet if that feels better. You might catch hold of opposite elbows. Breathe. You might sway a little bit from side to side. You might switch the crossing of your elbows. Good. And then relax your arms all the way down. Soften your knees forward. Walk your hands to your shins or thighs. As you inhale, halfway rise, Ardha Uttanasana. So inner thighs are rolling back. Broaden your collarbones. Lengthen the base of the skull. And then bend your knees more. Slide your hands to your thighs. Press your arms straight into a chair pose. Now my feet are a little bit wider than my hips today. I give you the option. Good. Maybe the arms reach out into a nice wide V. Do make sure the weight is more in your heels. So you might take a peek down at your toes. Make sure you can see them. Good. And then plant your toes down. Drape the tip of the tailbone down. You might sit a little bit deeper. One more breath. Take a nice inhale. Exhale here. Root down into the earth as you inhale. Press all the way up to stand. Good. As you exhale, lower the arms all the way down. Good. Let's take a cleansing breath. Inhale through your nose. Out the mouth, let it go. Great. So bring your blocks with you. We're going to take a quarter turn open on our yoga mat. You can stretch your arms out, ankles underneath your wrists, and then we'll set those blocks nice and tall behind your heels. Set those blocks nice and tall behind your heels. We'll bring the hands to the hips, and deep within the hip socket, we'll pivot the right toes forward, and your left toes slightly forward, heel to arch alignment. We'll keep the hands on the hips, take an inhale here. And as you exhale, bend the front knee forward. Good. Front knee is right over the ankle. That right buttock flesh is wrapping under. And slide your back hand, your left hand to the thigh bone. And press that thigh bone back just enough that the outer foot anchors down. And the inseam of that leg lifts up. So that inner arch lifts, inner shin, inner thigh. That inner thigh should feel firm here. So you might even just test that, right? And let's move in and out here. So let's inhale, straighten that front knee. And as you exhale, slowly bend, resisting to that back foot. Good. Again, inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. And the next time we'll stay. So inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend and stay. Good. Roll the spine nice and tall, vertebrae by vertebrae. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, hinge right over your front thigh, either forearm to the thigh, or if it's reachable and accessible, bring the hand to the block at the highest level. Now that block, I right now have you set it outside the foot. You can see what feels better. Sometimes you place it inside the foot. I was always taught outside, but sometimes it's interesting just to explore, right? So keeping that foot straight forward, take a little peek at that foot. Very, very slowly begin to straighten your front knee so the front of the leg begins to lift up. I want to give one more option. If you have scoliosis or any imbalances here, sometimes triangle pose doesn't feel good. You might even play with flexing that foot if it's an option. You might slide that block under the foot. I like it near a wall. I just want to give this option because I know some of you don't like this pose. If that's you, you might slide that hand up the leg a little bit higher. So just an option there. All right. Wherever you are, begin to roll your top hip open. Broaden your collarbone, slide the corners of your neck back, and maybe that top arm reaches to the sky. Good. You might reach up more. So even if you don't have that block, you might even play with flexing that foot here to see how it feels. To me, it really plugs that femur bone right into its socket, much similar to what we did on the back. Right. Good. Breathe. Let's take just one more inhale here. And as you exhale, very slowly roll the gaze down like you're sliding the nose down. Rebend your front knee. Draw your navel towards your spine. We'll inhale, warrior two. Straighten that front knee. Bring your hands to your hips. Parallel your feet. Good. We'll heel toe the feet. One heel toe closer together. Soften the knees. As you inhale, lift your heart, look up. And as you exhale, bow forward, hands to the earth or blocks. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, melt. 5 breaths. You might walk the hands back so the heels of the hands line up with the heels of the feet. Just an option. The crown of the head is close to the earth. Breathe. And then as you inhale, halfway rise. As you exhale, bend to your right knee. Pause. Inhale, center. Exhale, bend to your left knee. Inhale, center. Go back and forth one more time. And then finding center here. The knees are soft enough that your spine can really lengthen. We'll take an inhale. As you exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Keep a nice long spine. Inhale, rise. And exhale at the top. Good. Second side, so you might re-widen your stance. We'll bring your hands to your hips. Deep within the hip socket, pivot the left toes forward. Right toes slightly forward, heel to arch alignment. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, bend your front knee forward, moving in the direction of 90 degrees. So with that front knee forward, make sure the knee is happy. Adjust at the foot if it's not. Wrap that left buttock flesh under. Bring your right hand to the front of that thigh. And anchor that thigh bone back just enough that the outer foot roots. Inseam that leg lifts. You might even feel the inner thigh, see if that is firm. If it's not, lift that inner arch more. Good. And then we'll move in and out of the shape. When you're ready, inhale, straighten that front knee. And exhale, slowly rebend, almost like there's a rubber band around your shins. So inhale, straighten that front knee. Exhale, rebend. Good. And last time, inhale. Exhale. Good. So staying low in your low body. And take an inhale, grow taller to your crown. And as you exhale, hinge right over your thigh, either forearm to thigh or hand to the block. Good. We'll bring the gaze down and very slowly begin to straighten or lift the front of the leg up, moving into triangle pose. Once again, if you like that flex foot option, you might slide a block there. You can have a block under the hand as well, just an option here. Just an option. You might even play with flexing the foot back, hugging that femur bone in. And then slowly replanting it. Good. Roll your top hip open. Lean back. And then maybe that arm reaches up. Beautiful. Keep the collarbones broad here. Beautiful. Maybe the gaze lifts. Just one more breath, drawing earth energy all the way up the body. And take an inhale when you're ready. As you exhale, bring your gaze down. We'll bend that front knee forward, draw navel to spine. Inhale, warrior two. Straighten that front knee. Bring your hands to your hips, parallel your feet. And either heel toe your feet a little bit closer here. So I want to give a couple options. We're going to either interlace your fingers here. I really like the idea of using a strap today. So if you have tighter shoulders or just want to play along, find your strap once again. I know most of you have done this with me hundreds of times. You'll double up your strap and you'll take your strap across your sacrum, that triangular plate at the base of your spine. Bend your knees, root down into the earth. Now, as your elbows tap back, notice your shoulders, are they rounding forward? So if that's you, broaden your collarbones, roll the upper arm bones open, and if that doesn't happen, widen your hands on the strap. Slide the corners of your neck back. Just keep the hands glued to your low back. Take an inhale, lift your heart, look up. You might stay lifted. As you exhale, bow forward, hands stay on the low back. From here, roll the upper arm bones open. Keep the head and neck relaxed. And then maybe the knuckles lift up towards the ceiling. Keep those upper arm bones wrapping open. You might play with the rotation of the palms. I like to wag the arms from side to side. I tend to lock out my elbows personally, so if that's you, keep the elbows a little bit soft. Breathe. 3 more breaths. Good. When you are ready, lower your hands to your low back. Bend your knees forward. As you inhale, halfway rise, collarbones broad, spine long, and inhale, come all the way up to stand. Good. Exhale here. You can move the strap to the side. And either hop or heel toe your feet together. Shake out anything that needs shaking. Good. Very nice. And we'll step to the top of your yoga mat. Step to the top of your yoga mat, please. Good. Do you have a couple blocks? Reachable? You might even have your blocks a little more towards the mid-mat. I don't say that very often. But have your blocks pretty tall towards the mid-mat. And we'll take a step forward to the top of the mat. And we'll take a pause here. So, finding Tadasana here. Rooting your feet. Unlock your knees. Flesh the buttocks is draping towards your heels, and as your strong legs root down, rise tall to the sun. Take an inhale through your nose, please. And just let it go on a sigh. We're taking an M sound. Inhale through your nose, and M descending. And one more time. Inhale. Good. One resting breath. With your next inhale, reach your arms forward and up. As you exhale, bend your elbows, fold all the way down. On an inhale, halfway rise, hands to shins or your thighs. And as you exhale, fold and melt. Bend your knees, plant your hands, and we'll step your right leg way back. And we're going to lower that back knee down. So a couple options here. If you want to stay low, you're welcome to stay here. You might use your blocks here. Or begin to scissor your feet together. Draw your navel towards your spine and crawl your hands up to your front thigh. Please, 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 please pad your knee if you need to. Good. Keep wrapping that outer left hip down. As you exhale here, draw your navel back a little bit. And then as you inhale, soften in or yield to gravity. I like those back toes curled under, but if you want to flatten the foot, be my guest. So listen carefully. We'll either rest that left hand on a thigh or rest that left hand on a block to the edge of your yoga mat. And we'll inhale that right arm up and over. A little side bend here. Keep hugging your inner thighs together. You might even move your hips a little bit to the right as that arm moves a little bit to the left. I like to take a little peek at my back heel, make sure it's hugging in towards my midline. Good. One more breath. And then as you inhale, reach up, 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 up. Let's add that left arm. Inhale, reach both arms up. Listen carefully. As you exhale, bend your elbows, bring your hands to your heart. Either twist a little bit, or you'll hook your right elbow outside that left thigh. Just an option, just an option. You can always do less or even unwind your arms here. Keep your collarbones broad. Roll your bottom ribs towards your top ribs. The gaze can really be wherever feels good here. I like to gaze down to release the neck. Good. Keep the shoulder blades sliding down your back. There you go. Take one more inhale here. As you exhale, very slow motion, unwind. I'm going to bring both hands to blocks. Take an inhale. And let's take a counter stretch. We'll draw the hips back, extending your front leg. Good. Keep the spine nice and long here. Left buttocks reaching up and back. Right outer hip rolling forward. If you want more sensation, keep the spine long, but walk the arms forward. You might even find dog in your upper body. Just an option. To me, that's not really accessible. Breathe. Good. And then very slowly begin to re-bend your front knee. Pick up your back knee, pause. And on an inhale, we'll step forward to the top of your yoga mat. As you exhale, fold. We'll go right to the second side. So step your left leg way back. Lower that knee down. Draw your sternum bone forward. Option to stay right here. Or begin to scissor your feet together. Walk your hands up to your front thigh. Draw your navel towards your spine. And then inhale, lift your heart up. And as you exhale, soften or yield to gravity. Now, yielding to gravity is different than collapsing into your low back. So if you feel that sensation, you might press a little bit out of the shape or draw the navel in and out. So from here, I'm going to bring my blocks back a little bit. Right hand either to the thigh or to that block outside the mat. And we'll inhale that left arm up and over, side bend. Keep drawing your navel back towards your spine. You might take a peek over your right shoulder. I like to gaze at my back heel, make sure it's hugging in towards my center, not just flopping open to the left. Breathe. One more breath. Nice inhale. Nice exhale. Navel to spine. As you inhale, reach the arm up. Let's add both arms together. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, draw your hands to your heart. Hinge forward. Either twist a little bit or hook that elbow outside that thigh. I often scooch my back knee in a little bit just so I can broaden my collarbones and slide my shoulder blades down my back. Breathe. This is a doozy of a pose. Enjoy it or change it. Good, beautiful. One more breath. You choose your gaze. When you're done, slow motion, exhale, unwind. Lower your hands down to the floor or blocks. Let's take an inhale together. And as you exhale, we'll draw the hips back. Ardha Hanumanasana. Good. Right buttocks reaching up and back. Outer left hip wrapping forward. Grow your spine longer. An option to walk your arms forward. Breathe. Very slowly begin to rebend your front knee. And pick up your back knee, pause. And as you inhale, step forward to the top of your yoga mat. And as you exhale, fold. We're going to stay here once again. You might widen your feet a little wider than hip bone distance. Take your first two fingers, peace fingers, around the mounds of the big toes. Take an inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, bow in. 5 breaths. Elbows wide. Shoulder blades up and onto the back. And if this arm variation doesn't work for you or doesn't feel good, change it. Release your hands, bring your hands to the earth or even blocks. Heel toe your feet as wide as your yoga mat is wide. And pivot the heels in, toes out. Heels in, toes out. And slow motion, begin to bend your knees in the direction of your toes. And we'll walk our forearms up to our thighs, kind of like you're squatting in the woods if you were a ballet dancer. Good. Great. So broaden your collarbones, slide your shoulder blades onto your back. I want to give the option to stay here or bring your hands to blocks or the earth. Take an inhale, Malasana. Exhale, tailbone between your heels. Hands might find your heart. Good. If you're in Malasana and your heels are hovering, please slide a blanket or even double up your sticky mat underneath your heels. Broaden your collarbones. Just one more breath here. We're making our way all the way to the earth. And when you're done, lower your hands down very mindfully. Sit on down. We did it. We did it. Stretch your legs forward. Give your knees a little bit of a shake here. Good. And then from here, let's do this. I'm going to give you 2 choices. One's going to feel better for you. Option A, Baddha Konasana. The soles of the feet together. And the legs can be a comfortable distance away from the body. Option B, Upavishta Konasana. You choose. You choose. You might sit on a blanket. If there's any pressure behind your knees, you might roll a couple blankets behind your knees. You might pull the flesh of your buttocks back a little bit here. Good. Great. Let's bring your fingertips behind you. We'll start here. If you're in Upavishta, thigh bones root down. Roll your shoulders open. Take an inhale, lift your heart, look up. You might stay right here. As you exhale, walk it forward. We have 10 breaths. Now I want to give the option. You might keep this active. The feet might be flexing. You might even crawl it from side to side. If you'd like more of a passive, relaxing yin type posture, you might soften into it completely. If you are in Upavishta, any compression or any really pulling, hyperextending in the back to the knees, soften or slide blankets under your knees. If you have props nearby, a bolster, a couple blocks, you might support under your forearms or under your forehead. Breathe. The energy of forward folds is typically very calming, very cooling. Unless you're forcing, sometimes the ego gets involved, right? So if that's you, do less, do less. A couple more breaths here. Good. And then nice and slow, Let's inhale, grow your spine. And walk yourself all the way up. Bringing your hands either to the backs of the knees or under the knees, lifting the knees up. Stretching your legs forward, give the knees a little bit of a shake. And before we rest in Shavasana, we're going to do a little pranayama. So find a comfortable seat for breath meditation, please. You can do this lying back. There's a different way to do it lying back, or if you want to come right into Shavasana, be my guest. Otherwise, taking a nice tall seat for a breath meditation. Any seat will do. If you sat in Sukhasana earlier, you might switch the crossing of your shins. Root your low body. Grow your spine tall. And we're going to close with alternate nostril breathing today to really focus the mind and prepare for the day. So we'll turn the left palm open in Jnana Mudra, and I'm not mirroring you here. You'll take your right hand, you'll take your first two fingers, your peace fingers, and fold them down so your last two fingers are lifted. And you'll squish those fingers together, placing your right thumb over your right nostril, and those last two fingers just over your left nostril. Once again, sitting up nice and tall, keeping the collarbones broad. We'll draw the chin down just a little bit, not that it's jamming into the chest, but we'll call it a Jalandhara Bandha light or a mild throat lock. Take a breath here, take a smooth inhale. Take a smooth exhale, blocking off the right nostril with a thumb. Take an inhale through your left nostril, please. Blocking and holding all the air in the center. And exhaling right. Inhaling right. Blocking and holding, shoulders relaxed. And exhale left. That's round one. We'll be here about 2 more minutes. Inhaling left. Blocking and holding. Exhale right. Inhale right. Blocking and holding. Exhale left, continuing at your rhythm, please, on your own. One more round. The next time you exhale through your left nostril, you'll lower the hand down and find a resting breath. The chin floats back to neutral. And just notice the effects. It's a beautiful place to stay for sitting meditation, or when you're ready, finding your way to final relaxation. You choose. If you are joining me for a sitting meditation, one option today is a traditional meditation. So bringing your awareness to your third eye point, in between the brows slightly up. And bring your attention to the roof of your mouth. And then draw a line to that place where those 2 points would intersect. Rolling your gaze up to that space. And experience. Explore. Resting your inner gaze there. Deepening the breath. If you're in meditation, bringing the tip of the tongue just behind your top front teeth for a few breath cycles. And then relaxing the tongue when you're ready. Wherever you are, you might begin to wiggle your fingers, maybe your toes. You might circle your wrists and your ankles if you're lying back or upright. In both directions. And stretching, yawning, sighing, hissing. And if you're reclined, please take your time to bend your knees. Roll to a side of your choosing. 2 or 3 breaths there. We'll all meet in a comfortable tall seat. Maybe the eyes stay closed. Bringing palms together at your heart. And calling back to mind that word or phrase that brought you to the mat today. And we'll seal in our practice with the sound of 1 Om. First a breath, take a nice inhale. And sigh it out. Inhale. Bowing your thinking mind to your heart, honoring that light within, allowing that light to shine brightly for you and everyone you choose to surround yourself with today and this next week. Lifting your chin, and together we say Namaste. Either bowing a little bit, or if it's accessible, bowing your head below your heart here. You might even reach your arms around, catch hold of the opposite elbow from the foot that is forward. We call this yogic seal, just an option. You might stay here and breathe. Please take your time if you're there. Have a beautiful, beautiful, peaceful day.